Hello? Hello? I was told to come in here? In the dark? Hello?
Are you the new recruit? I said, are you the new recruit?
Yes, sir.
Are you afraid of the dark?
No, I hope not.
All right, you are hired.
But I really have no experience.
No one has any experience of the Battle of Armageddon.
But I'm really unfit.
You are willing. That is enough.
Well, really, I don't know of any profession of which mere willingness is the final test.
I do. Martyrs. I'm condemning you to death. Good day.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining our little gathering for a bit of light entertainment. Many of you have enjoyed my brother's little speeches over the past few weeks, so I can confidently assure you that you will not be disappointed tonight, so long as you can overlook his little blasphemies. Without further ado, it is with great pride that I introduce my brother, poet, orator, Lucian Gregory.
In the beginning, there was chaos, endless energy roiling and boiling, an infinite potential. The power of the formless void shall never be matched. There are those who say beauty is found in structure, in order, and in convention, and that the task of the artist is to build, to arrange, to bring together. But I say beauty's actually found in strength, in power, in energy. Therefore, the true task of the artist is to tear down, to scatter, to destroy. In short, an artist is identical with that of an anarchist. The man who throws a bomb is an artist because he prefers one great moment to everything else. He sees how much more valuable is one burst of blazing light, one peal of perfect thunder, than the mere common bodies of a few shapeless policemen. An artist disregards all governments, abolishes all conventions. The poet delights in disorder only. For were not so, the most poetical thing in the world would be the London Underground. Now,
And so it is.
nonsense. Why do all the clerks and navvies of the railway trains look so very sad and tired? It is because they know that the train is going right. It is because they know that whatever place they have taken a ticket for, that place they will reach. It is because they know that once they have passed Sloane Square, the next station must be Victoria, and only but Victoria. Oh, their wild rapture. Oh, their eyes like stars and their souls again in Eden. If the next station were unaccountably Baker Street.
What rot! If what you say of clerks is true, they can only be as prosaic as your poetry.
And who are you to cast so critical an eye with both prose and poetry?
I beg your pardon for taking advantage of your artistic love of a good interruption. My name is Gabriel Sand. I am a poet.
A poet, you say? With an ascot like that. Tell me, how is it you find artistic expression in the narrow confines and heartlessly predictable movements of the Underground Railway?
It is because I am a poet of law and order, nay, of respectability.
Good sir, a poet of law is a contradiction in terms.
Not so, not so. Poetry is on the side of law and order, of clerks and trains. The rare, strange thing is to hit your mark. The gross obvious is to miss it. I tell you, every time a train comes in, I feel that it has broken past batteries of besiegers. and man has won a battle against chaos. You say contemptuously that when one has left Salome Square, one must come to Victoria. I say one might do 1,000 things instead. And when I am really there, I have a sense of hairbreadth escape. And when the guard shouts out the word Victoria, it is not an unmeaning word. It is like the cry of a herald announcing conquest. It is indeed Victoria. It is the victory of Adam.
And even then, we poets always ask the question, and what is Victoria now that you have got there? You think Victoria will be like the New Jerusalem. We know the New Jerusalem will only be like Victoria. Yes, the poet will be discontent even in the streets of heaven. The poet is always in revolt.
There again, what is there poetical about being in revolt? Revolt, in the abstract, is revolting. It's mere vomiting. It's things going right. That's poetical. The most poetical thing in the world. Yes, more poetical than the flowers, more poetical than the stars. The most poetical thing in the world is not being sick. Really,
The examples that you choose.
I beg your pardon. I thought we had abolished all convention.
You don't expect me to revolutionize society on this lawn.
No! But I suppose that if you were serious about your anarchism, that is exactly what you would do.
Do you not think, then, that I am serious about my anarchism?
I beg your pardon?
Am I not serious about my anarchism?
My dear fellow.
Excuse me, Mr. Syme. May I ask you a question?
Certainly, dear lady. I pray I have in no way offended Miss,
Call me Rosamond. No, well, at least I don't think so. I've listened to my brother and others, like you, speak as you have this evening quite often. But I'm not sure I've always understood.
What do you mean?
Well, my brother, he speaks so well and so amusingly, but he does say such disgraceful things like throwing bombs and blowing up policemen that I wonder, Mr. Syme, do people like you and my brother mean what they say? Do you mean what you say now?
Do you?
What do you mean?
My dear Miss Gregory, there are many kinds of sincerity and insincerity. When you say thank you for passing the salt, do you mean what you say? No. Now, sometimes a man like your brother finds something he really does mean. It may be only a quarter truth, half truth, 10th truth. But then he says more than he means, from the sheer force of meaning it.
Is he really an anarchist then?
Only in the sense that I mean. Or if you prefer it, in that nonsense.
He wouldn't really throw bombs or that sort of thing.
Good Lord, no. That sort of thing has to be done anonymously.
Thank you, Mr. Syme. You reassured me greatly. Thank you for your kind words.
I assure you, Miss Gregory, the pleasure was all mine.
Goodbye.
Adieu, fair lady, adieu. Rosamund, Rosamundi. Indeed, true rose of the world.
There you are. I was looking for you. Might I have a moment's conversation?
Certainly. About what?
Mr. Syme, this evening you succeeded in doing something no man ever born of woman has done before.
Indeed.
Now, I do recall there was one man who had done it, a captain of a penny steamer, if I remember correctly, down at South End. But the fact remains so. You have irritated me.
I'm very sorry.
I'm afraid my fury and your insults are too shocking to be wiped out with any apology. No duel can wipe it out. In fact, there's only one way by which such an insult can be erased, and that way I choose. Mr. Syme, I am going to, at the very possible sacrifice of my life and honor, to prove to you you that you were wrong in what you said.
In what I said,
You said I was not serious about being an anarchist.
there are degrees of seriousness. I never doubted that you might think a paradox might awake men to a neglected truth.
You do not think, in a deeper, a more deadly sense, that I am serious?
Serious? Good Lord, man. Is this street serious? Is the whole caboodle serious? One comes here and talks a load of rot, and perhaps some sense as well. But I should think very little of the man who doesn't keep something in the background of his life more serious than all this talking. Something more serious. Whether it be religion, even drink.
Very well. You shall see something more serious than either drink or religion. You spoke just now of having a religion. Is it true you have one?
Oh, we are all Catholics now.
Then may I ask you to swear, by whatever blasted gods are saying your religion involves, that you will not say what I am going to show you to any son of Adam, and especially not to the police. Will you swear to that? Mr. Syme, you shall make a vow that you should never keep. I will promise you in return.
You will promise me in return?
I will promise you a very entertaining evening.
Your offer is far too idiotic to be refused. You say the poet is always in revolt. I disagree, but I hope at least he is always a sportsman. Permit me here and now to swear as a Christian and fellow artist and comrade that I will not reveal any of this, whatever it is, to the police. And now, in the name of Conley Hatch, what the devil is it?
I think we shall walk this way.
Who's there?
Mr. Joseph Chamberlain. You must forgive me all these formalities. We have to be very strict here.
Oh, no, don't apologize. I know your passion for law and order.
And now, Mr. Syme, now we are quite comfortable, so let us talk properly. You are an inexpressibly irritating fellow. I would break 10, nay 20 oaths of pleasure. The pleasure of taking you down a peg. Well, you said that you were quite certain that I was not a serious anarchist. Does this place strike you as being serious?
It does seem to have a moral under its gate. But may I ask you two questions? First, what is it really about? What do you object to exactly? You want to abolish government.
To abolish God! We do not only want to upset a few despotisms and police regulations, that sort of anarchism does exist, but it is a mere branch of the nonconformists. We dig deeper and we blow you higher. We wish to deny all those arbitrary distinctions of vice and virtue, honor and treachery, upon which mere rebels base themselves. The silly French revolutionists talked of the rights of man. We hate rights as we hate wrongs. We have abolished right and wrong.
And right and left, too. I hope you abolish them. They are much more troublesome to me.
You spoke a second question?
Certainly. In all your proceedings and surroundings, There is a scientific attempt at secrecy. You have led me to your secret underground hideout. You have a heavy iron door. You cannot pass through that door without submitting yourself to the humiliation of calling yourself Mr. Chamberlain. You line the walls with instruments which make the place, if I may say, more impressive than home-like. May I ask then why, after taking all the trouble to barricade yourselves in the bowels of the earth, you then parade your secret by talking about anarchism to every silly woman in Saffron Park?
The answer is actually quite simple. You see, I told you that I was a serious anarchist, and you did not believe me. Nor do they believe me. In fact, unless I took them into this infernal room, they would not believe me. The history of the thing might amuse you. When first I became one of the new anarchists, I tried all sorts of respectable disguises. A millionaire, a major, a bishop. But the more I tried to hide, the faster they nabbed me. It was no good. At last I went in despair to the Central Anarchist Council president, who is the greatest man in Europe.
What's his name?
You will not know it. That is his greatness. You see, Caesar and Napoleon, they put all their greatness into being heard of. And they were heard of. He puts all his greatness into not being heard of. And he is not heard of. But you cannot be in the room for 5 minutes with him without the feeling that Caesar and Napoleon would have been mere children in his hands. But whenever he gives advice, it is always something as startling as an epigram, yet as practical as the Bank of England.
You want to say disguise, do you? You want a dress which will guarantee you safety, a dress where no one ever looked for a bomb?
I nodded, and he suddenly lifted his magnificent lion's voice. Why then, dress up as an anarchist, you fool! I took his advice, and have never regretted it. I preached blood and murder to those women days and night, and by God, they would let me wheel around their perambulators.
You took me in. It really is a clever dodge. What do you call this magnificent president of yours?
We generally call him Sunday. You see, there are 7 members of the Central Anarchist Council, each named after days of the week. He's called Sunday by some of his admirers, Bloody Sunday. It is curious you should mention the matter, because this very night, our London branch has called a meeting to elect a deputy to fill a vacancy in the council. The man who has for some time played the role of Thursday has died quite suddenly. Consequently, we have called a meeting to elect a successor. I feel as if I can confide anything you sign on the account of your promise of secrecy. In fact, I would confide to you something that I would not say in so many words to the anarchists who shall be coming to the room in about a few minutes. You see, we shall of course go through an official form of election, but I don't mind telling you that it is practically settled that I am to be Thursday.
My dear fellow, I heartily congratulate you.
In fact, everything is ready for me on this table, and the ceremony will probably be as short as possible. I've only just snatched up this clothes, and I stuff these other things in my pocket, then I step out of a door out of this cavern, which opens on a river, where there's a steam tug already waiting for me. And then, oh, the joy of being Thursday!
Why do I like you, Gregory? Why is it that I think you're a positively decent fellow? By George, this is the strangest situation of my life. And I'm going to act accordingly. Gregory, before you brought me here, I gave you a promise. That promise I would keep under red-hot pincers. Would you be so kind as to give me a little promise of the same kind, for my own protection?
A promise?
Yes, a promise. I gave you my word before God that I would not tell the police your secret. Will you swear by humanity or whatever beastly thing you believe in that you will not tell my secret to the anarchists?
A secret? Yep, secret.
Yes, I have a secret. Will you swear?
You must have bewitched me, but I feel a furious curiosity about you, which I cannot put my finger on. Yes, I will swear not to say anything to the anarchists about what you tell me. But look sharp, they shall be here in a couple minutes.
Well, I don't know how to tell you more shortly than that by saying that your expedient of dressing up as an aimless poet is not confined to you or your president. We have known about the Dodge for some time. At Scotland Yard.
What do you say?
Yes, I am a police detective. See my card. Don't you see we've checkmated each other? I cannot tell the police that you are an anarchist. You cannot tell the anarchist that you are a policeman. That I am a policeman. One solitary difference lies in your favor. You are not surrounded by inquisitive
I
policemen.
don't believe you. Tell me, after all this, you are to break your word. God, make a holy for you to hold it forever.
I shall not break my word. You shall not break yours.
Comrade Gregory, I suppose this man is a delegate.
I am pleased to see that your gate is well enough guarded that it would be very difficult for anyone to be here who is not a delegate.
What branch do you represent?
I should hardly call it a branch. Should at the very least call it a root.
What do you mean?
The truth is, the fact is, I am a Sabbatarian. I have been sent here specially to see that you show due observance to Sunday.
Well, comrade, we better give you a seat at the meeting.
If you ask my advice as a friend, I stay there.
I think it is time we began. I move Comrade Buttons takes the chair.
Aye.
Comrades, our meeting tonight is important, but need not be long. This branch has always had the honor of electing Thursday for the Central European Council. We all lament the sad decease of the heroic worker who occupied the post until last week. You all know his services to the cause were considerable. But we are not met here tonight to acclaim his virtues, but for something much harder. It is difficult properly to praise his qualities, but it is even more difficult to replace them. Therefore, comrades, it devolves upon you this evening to choose from the company present the man who shall be Thursday.
I move that Comrade Gregory be elected Thursday.
Does anyone second? Before we put the matter to vote, I call on Comrade Gregory to make a statement.
Comrades, it is not necessary for me to tell you what my policy is, for it is your policy also. Our belief has been slandered. It has been disfigured. It has been utterly confused and concealed, but it has never been altered. Our belief, said by so many, who go to get anywhere to get their information, except to us, except to the fountainhead. The man who's always heard that we are walking plagues has never heard our reply. I know he would not hear it tonight, though my passion were to rend the roof. For it is deep, deep under the earth, that the persecuted are permitted to assemble. Just as the Christians assembled in the catacombs. But if, by some incredible accident, there were here tonight a man who all his life had thus immensely misunderstood us, I would put this question to him. When those Christians met in the catacombs below, what sort of moral reputation had they in the streets above? What tales of atrocities were told from one educated Roman to another? Suppose, I would say to him, suppose we seem as shocking as the Christians, because we really are as harmless. Suppose we seem as mad as the Christians, because we really are as meek.
I'm not meek.
Comrade Witherspoon tells us that she is not meek. Ah, how little she knows herself. Only the eyes of friendship, as deep and as delicate as mine, can perceive the deep foundation of solid meekness which lies at the base of her, too deep for her to see. I say, we are the true early Christians, only that we come too late. We are merciful just as we... I say, we are merciful, just as the early Christians were merciful. Yet this did not prevent them being accused of eating human flesh. We do not eat human flesh for...
Shame! Why not?
Comrade Witherspoon is anxious to know why nobody eats her. In our society, at any rate, which loves her sincerely, which is founded upon love.
Down
which is
with
founded
love!
upon love. There will be no difficulty about the aims which we shall pursue as a body, or which I should pursue, were I chosen as the representative of that body. Superbly careless of the slanders that represent us as assassins and enemies of human society, we shall pursue, with moral courage and quiet intellectual pressure, the permanent ideals of brotherhood and simplicity.
Does anyone oppose the election of Comrade Gregory?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I oppose. Comrades, have we come here for this? Have we come to listen to Comrade Gregory give us talk like this? This is talk we might hear on a Sunday school retreat while eating buns. Do we line the walls with weapons and bar the door with death, lest anyone should come and listen to Comrade Gregory tell us that we should be good, we will be happy. Honesty is the best policy, and virtue is its own reward. There is not one word of Comrade Gregory's address to which a curate would not have listened with pleasure. I am not a curate. The man who is fitted to be a good curate is not fitted to be a resolute, efficient, and forcible Thursday. Comrade Gregory tells us in too apologetic a tone that we are not enemies of society. I say we are the enemies of society, and so much the worse for society. Comrade Gregory tells us that we are not murderers. There I agree. We are not murderers. We are executioners. You still be that threat. Comrade Gregory accuses me of hypocrisy. He knows as well as I do that I keep all my engagements and do nothing but my duty. Comrades, I do not mince words. I do not pretend to. I say Comrade Gregory is unfit to be Thursday for all of his amiable qualities. I say Comrade Gregory is unfit to be Thursday because of his amiable qualities. This is no time for ceremonial politeness, nor is it time for ceremonial modesty. I set myself against Comrade Gregory as I would set myself against all the governments of Europe. Rather than have Comrade Gregory and his milk and water methods on the Supreme Council, I would offer myself for election to the Supreme Council. I do not go to the Supreme Council to repel the slander that calls us murderers. I go to earn it!
Amendment that Comrade Stein be appointed to that post.
No, stop all this! You don't know what you're doing, stop!
Does anyone second this amendment?
Stop! I end all of this! This man cannot be elected. He is a...
Yes. He is a what?
is a man, quite inexperienced in our work.
I beg to second the election of Comrade Syme.
The amendment will, as usual, be put first. The question is whether Comrade Syme be elected to the post of Thursday on the Central European Council.
Aye!
Aye. Motion passed. Yes.
Thanks, Chinese.
You are a gentleman. You have kept your word even to one small detail.
What do you mean? What detail?
It was a very entertaining evening. I say, are you here to meet me? I'm from the London Charter. I'm the new Thursday.
If we walk towards Leicester Square, we shall just be in time for breakfast. Sunday always insists on an early breakfast. Have you had any sleep?
No.
Nor have I. I shall try to get to bed afterwards. Of course, the secretary of the ranch told you everything. But the one thing that can never be is the latest motion of the president. So, I better tell you that he is carrying out his motion of concealing ourselves by not concealing ourselves to the most extraordinary lengths just now. Originally, of course, we met in a cell underground, just as your ranch does. Then, Sunday made us take a private room at an ordinary restaurant. He said that if you didn't seem to be hiding, nobody hunted you out. Well, he is the only man on earth I know. Sometimes I really think his huge brain is going a little mad in its old age. For now we flaunt ourselves before the public. We eat our breakfast on a balcony. On a balcony, please, overlooking Leicester Square.
And what do the people say?
It's quite simple. They say we are a lot of jolly folks who pretend we are anarchists.
I say that sounds like a very clever idea.
Clever! God blast your impudence, clever! When you've seen somebody for a split second, leave off calling him clever. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to introduce Mr. Gabriel Syme, the duly elected successor to the post of Thursday. Mr. Syme, these are the members of the Central Anarchist Council. Occupying the place of Friday, the esteemed philosopher, Professor de Worms. Saturday is Dr. Bowl. Wednesday, the Marquis du Son Moustache. And Tuesday is Mr. Gogol from Poland. As the secretary of the council, I occupy the place of Monday. And there,
How do you do, gentlemen? A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Allow me to compliment you in your fine taste of a accoutrement. I see you came prepared for our morning meal.
Quite a fortuitous accident, I assure you. I was only just informed of our arrangements as I arrived.
Eh?
Our friend Tuesday doesn't seem to grasp the idea of our meeting in this way. He dresses up like a gentleman, but he seems to be too great a soul to behave like one. He insists on the ways of the stage conspirator.
I'm not good at concealment. I'm not ashamed of the ghost.
Yes, you are, my boy. So is the cause of you.
Well, seeing as how the post of Thursday is no longer vacant, the council is complete. I say, move on to business. 3 days from now, the French Republic will meet with the Tsar in Paris. It has been decided that we shall strike at that meeting, and with one blow, we shall cripple 2 governments.
And which one of us shall strike that blow? Shall I do it? I am from, how you say, the continent.
Not for my money. You may be from the continent, but I say you'd stick out of Paris like a sore thumb. Let it be our own Wednesday. A Frenchman in Paris is about as noticeable as a single strand of hay amongst a great haystack. You should be able to get quite close to the president.
Is it agreed that we shall commission and send Wednesday the Marquis de Saint-Eustache to kill the President of France and the Tsar of Russia? Aye.
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 No.
I.
Aye. The ayes have it. Very well. The final question regards the method of the attack.
I say, a bomb. It is the usual thing.
I has often wondered whether it would have been better to do it with a knife. Most of the best things in the world have been brought off with a knife. And it would be a new feeling to get a knife into the French president.
You are wrong. The knife was merely the expression of the old, personal quarrel with a personal tyrant. Dynamite is not only our best tool, but our best symbol. It is as perfect a symbol of us as is incense of the prayers of the Christians. It expands. It only destroys because it broadens. Even so, thought only destroys because it broadens. My brain feels like a bomb night and day. It must expand, it must expand. One's brain must expand what breaks up the universe.
I don't want the universe broken up just yet. I need to do a lot of beastly things before I die.
No, if only the end of a thing is nothing, it hardly seems worth doing.
Every man in his heart knows that nothing is worth doing.
We are wandering from the point. The question is how Wednesday is to strike the blow. We should all agree with the original notion of a bomb. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Now, as to the actual arrangements, I should suggest that tomorrow morning you should go first of all to the pub.
Before we discuss that, Dr. Bull, be so good as to see to it that we are not spied upon. Unlock the door. I have something very particular to say.
So, you say you not hide. You say you show himself. It is all nothings. When you want talk importance, you run away and hide.
You can't get over it yet, Gogol. When once they've heard us talking nonsense, they will not care what we say behind closed doors. If we should have locked the door from the first, then we should have had those staff at the keyhole. You don't seem to know anything about that kind.
I die for them, and I slay their oppressors. I care not for these games of concealment. I would smite the tyrant in the open square.
I see. You die for mankind first, and then you get up and smite their oppressors. So, that's all right. And now, may I ask you to control your beautiful sentiments and sit down with the other gentlemen at this table? For the first time this morning, something intelligent is going to be said. Comrades, we have spun out this farce long enough. We were discussing plans and naming places. I propose, before saying anything else, that those plans and places should not be voted on by this meeting, but should be left wholly in control of some one reliable member. I suggest Comrade Saturday, Dr. Bull. Not one word more about the plans and places must be said at this meeting. Not one tiny detail more about what we mean to do must be mentioned in this company. You will probably understand that there is only one possible motive for forbidding free speech at this festival of freedom. Strangers overhearing us matters nothing. They assume that we are joking. But what would matter, even unto death, is this: that there should be one among us who is not of us, who knows our graver purpose, but does not share it, who...
It can't be! There can't!
Yes, there is a spy in this room. There is a traitor at this table. I will waste no more words. His name is Gogol. Yeah! Well, my man, will you oblige me by putting your hand in your upper waistcoat pocket and showing me what you have there? Pathetic Slav, tragic child of Poland, are you prepared, in the presence of that card, to deny that you are in this company, shall we say, de trop?
Well, sure thing.
I gather that you fully understand your position.
Of course. All I say is, I don't believe any Pole could have imitated my accent like I imitated his.
I can see the point. I believe your own accent to be inimitable, though I shall practice it in my bath. Do you mind tickling your beard with your card?
Oh, of course. It was mighty hot under there.
I will do you the justice to say that you seem to have kept pretty cool under it. Now listen to me. I like you. The consequence is that it would annoy me for just about 2.5 minutes if I heard that you had died in torments. Well, if you ever tell the police or any human soul about us, I shall have that 2.5 minutes of discomfort. On your discomfort, I will not dwell. Good day. Mind the step. Oh, time is flying. I must be off at once. I have to take the chair at a humanitarian meeting.
Would it not be better to discuss further the details of our project now that the spy has left us?
No, I think not. Leave it as it is. Let Saturday settle it. I must be off. Breakfast here next Sunday.
I must protest, President, that the thing is irregular. It is a fundamental rule of our society that all plans shall be debated in full council. Of course, I fully appreciate your report when in the actual presence of a traitor.
Secretary, if you take your head home and boil it for a turtle, it might be useful. I can't say, but it might.
I really fail to understand.
That's it. You fail to understand. Why, you dancing donkey? You didn't want to be overheard by a spy, didn't you? How do you know you aren't overheard now?
Thursday? I say, Thursday, are you a policeman?
A policeman? Whatever made you think of a policeman in connection with me?
The process was simple enough. I thought you looked like a policeman when you arrived. I think so now.
Why must I be a policeman? Do let me be a postman instead.
You are not a policeman? Are you a detective?
Your suggestion is ridiculous. Why?
Did you or did you not hear me ask a plain question, you pattern spy? Are you or are you not a policeman?
No.
You swear it? You swear it? If you swear falsely, will you be damned? Will you be sure that the devil dances at your funeral? You are an anarchist. You are a dynamiter. Above all, you are not a detective. You are not in the British police.
I am not in the British police.
That's a pity, because I am.
You are what?
I am a policeman. Though now that you swear that you are not one, I suppose I can only say that I met you in a dynamiters club. Suppose I ought to arrest you. Pull yourself together, man, or get hysterical. Have some champagne, I'll join you.
Oh, I see now. You're not old at all.
Can't take my face off here. It's rather elaborate makeup. As to whether I'm old, that's not for me to say. I was 28 last birthday.
Yes, but I mean, there's nothing the matter with you.
Yes, I am subject to colds.
It's a rather good getup of yours. Far better than old Gogol's. Even at the start, I thought she was a bit too hairy.
A difference of artistic theory. Gogol was an idealist. She made up the abstract, or the platonic form of an anarchist. But I'm a realist. I'm a portrait painter. Or rather, I am a portrait.
I don't understand you.
I'm a portrait of the celebrated Professor de Worms, who is currently, I believe, in Naples.
But doesn't she know you are taking her wig in vain?
She knows it right enough.
Then why doesn't she denounce you?
I've denounced her.
Do explain yourself.
With pleasure, if you don't mind hearing my story. I'm by profession an actor, and my name is Vivian Wilkes. When I was on the stage, I mixed with all sorts, and in some den of exiled dreamers, I was introduced to the great German nihilist philosopher, Professor de Worms. I studied her appearance very carefully, and made myself into what was meant to be a wild exaggeration of the old professor's dirty old self. When I walked into the room full of her supporters, I expected to be received with a roar of laughter or of indignation. I can hardly describe the surprise I felt when I was instead greeted by a respectful silence. You see, they thought I really was the great German philosopher. 2 or 3 of her admirers ran up to me, radiating indignation, and told me that a public insult had been put upon me in the next room. It seemed that some impertinent young lady had dressed herself up as a preposterous parody of myself. I had drunk more champagne than was good for me, and in a flash of folly, I decided to see the situation through. I need hardly say there was a collision. I need hardly say there was a collision. The pessimists all around me looked anxiously from one professor to the other to see which was really the more feeble. But I won. An old woman in poor health cannot be expected to be so impressively feeble as a young actor in the prime of life. I see, she sneered, you prevail like the false pig in Aesop. And you fail, I answered, smiling, like the hedgehog in Montaigne. Need I say that there is no hedgehog in Montaigne? Your claptrap comes off, she said, and so would your wig. I had no response to this, which was quite true and rather witty, but I simply answered, like the pantheist's boots, at random, and turned on Maheel with all the honors of victory. The real professor was thrown out, though not with violence, and is currently, I believe, received everywhere as a delightful imposter.
Well, I understand you're putting on her dirty wig for a nice practical joke. But what I don't understand is you're never taking it off again.
That's the rest of the story. When I left the company that night, followed by reverent applause, I was accosted by a policeman who told me I was wanted. I was shown into the presence of a great police officer who told me that a serious campaign against anarchy had been taken up, and that this, my masquerade, could be of considerable use to the cause. He offered me a good salary and this little blue card. Though our conversation was brief, he struck me as a man of very massive common sense and humor, although I could not tell you much about him personally because when
Because, I know, because you never saw his face. He spoke to you in a dark room.
Quite so. Did you know that Gogol was one of us?
I know, but didn't you?
I knew no more than the dead. I thought the president was talking about me, and I rattled in my boots.
I thought he was talking about me. I had my hand on my revolver the whole time.
So had I. So had Gogol, evidently.
Why? There were 3 of us there. 3 out of 7 is a fighting number. If only we knew we were 3.
We were 3. If we had been 300, we would still have done nothing.
Not 300 against 4?
Not 300 against Sunday.
Professor, this is intolerable. Are you afraid of this man?
Yes, I am. So are you.
Yes. You are right. I am afraid of him. Therefore, I swear to God that I will seek out the man whom I fear until I find him, and I will strike him in the mouth. If heaven were his throne and earth his footstool, I will pull him down.
How? Why?
Because I am afraid of him. And no man should leave anything in the universe of which he is afraid. What man would condescend to strike down the mere things he does not fear? Fight the thing you fear. Remember the old tale of the English clergyman who gave last rites to the Brugger of Sicily? And on his deathbed, the great robber said, "I can give you no money, but what I can give you is advice for a lifetime. Thumb on the blade, and strike upwards. Therefore I say to you, strike upwards if you strike at the stars."
Sunday is a fixed star.
You shall see in the falling star.
Have you any idea where you're going?
Yes, I'm going to Paris to prevent that bomb from being thrown.
Have you any conception how?
No.
You remember, of course, that when we broke up rather hurriedly, the arrangements for the atrocity were put in the capable hands of the Marquis and Dr. Volk. The Marquis is by this time halfway across the channel, but where he will go, what he will do there, are known only to Dr. Volk.
Found him! We don't even know where she is.
Yes, I know where she is myself.
Will you show me?
I'll take you there.
You will take me. You will undertake the risk?
Young man, I am amused to see that you think I am a coward. In response to your question, I will say only this. You think that it is possible to pull down the president. I know that it is impossible, and I'm going to try it. Our intrusion, comrade. You've come across some quite startling information which renders intolerable anything in the nature of a moment's delay. You have, no doubt, made all the arrangements. Please do not think me excessively abrupt. I advise you to alter those plans at once, or, if it is too late for that, to follow your agent with all the support you can muster.
I had the good conversation of falling into conversation with the police detective. He, thanks to my tie, took me for a respectable person. I led him to the Savoy and made him very drunk. He became quite friendly and told me in so many words that within a day or two they hoped to arrest the Marquis in France. So unless you and I can get on his track...
Simon immediately brought this information to me, and we came here together to see what use you would be inclined to make of it. Seems to me unquestionably
Do be so good, gentlemen, as to push your hands where I can see them.
I beg your pardon?
What is the meaning of this?
Ever since Sunday hinted that there might be another traitor among us other than Gogol, I've been expecting that traitor to strike. And since I alone hold the key to the Paris scheme, it seemed only logical that I would be the next target. Frankly, I had hoped it would be that evil-faced Monday, but one doesn't look a gift horse in the mouth.
I say, you are making a terrible mistake.
Am I? Do tell.
Haven't you been listening? The Marquis and the whole plot are in danger.
You don't really expect me to believe that cockamamie story about a drunk policeman who just happens to be in possession of sensitive information on the man on whom rests the success of the Central Council. I may be an anarchist, but a coincidence like this is far too convenient. Remember, Mr. Sun, I only met you this morning.
Hang it all, Bull. You know me, don't you? Could you really believe that I would betray the very cause you and I have suffered for after all this time?
My dear Professor de Worms, on what ground rests the cause that knowing you leads to liking you? And besides, what evidence do you have here that you haven't been taken in by sign?
What if you're wrong?
It doesn't matter which of you is the traitor, or neither of you is. If I denounce you to Sunday, it will be your word against mine. But if I kill you here and now, it will be my word against nobody's. And it will be my word against nobody's.
And the Marquis?
If he succeeds and survives, so much the better for the cause. But if you're telling the truth and he is arrested, so much the better, for he will be out of my way.
You don't mean...
That's right. I shall be the next Sunday. What is the Central Anarchist Council without a little anarchy on its own? Too long has he burdened the seat of honor in the Council of Days. You, of all people, son, should be able to appreciate the poetic nature of the transformation when Saturday reclaims the glory and honor due to the one, the true Sabbath.
You're insane. Can't you see you can't win?
You cannot stop me.
Perhaps not. But you cannot seriously think to go against the president alone. Dr. Bull.
What are you doing then?
I have an intuition about you. It's quite extraordinary. You see, Gogol, the false anarchist, tried to capture the caricature of the classic anarchist. The professor here has captured more of the deadly realism of an actual anarchist professor.
You mad for a dead man.
But you. Nothing about you screams the mad chaos of the anarchist. In fact, everything about you screams respectability. Except one thing. That one thing colors all the rest with dark evil. If I am to die, Dr. Bull, would you do me a small favor? Would you be so kind as to remove your goggles? I knew it! I knew I was a poet. It was those horrid spectacles that did it. Give it those beastly black eyes and all the rest of her jolly good looks. Made her a right live double among dead ones.
It certainly does make a clear difference. But as regards the project...
Oh, project be hanged! Look at her! Look at her face! Look at her color! Look at her blessed boobs! You don't really think that thing's an anarchist, do you? No use hiding it now. Dr. Bull, you were quite right a moment ago. I am a police detective. Here is my card.
I'm awfully glad you fellas shot so quickly. We all could head for France together.
Ha!
Yes, I'm in the force right enough.
Why, this is incredible. If this be true, then the whole bally lot of us on the Central Anarchist Council, there are more blasted detectives on the blasted council than blasted dynamiters.
We might have fought easily. We were 4 against 3.
Oh, we were not 4 against 3. We were not so lucky. We were 4 against 1.
So you sent the Marquis off with his bomb, I understand. Was it long ago? Shall we be in time to catch him?
Yes, I plan to intercept him myself, but I'm delighted to have company. I've timed it all out. He will still be at Calais when we arrive, but we must hurry.
And when we do catch him at Calais, what do we do then?
We must do something to keep him in Calais until noon tomorrow. We might try and kidnap him and lock him up ourselves, but he has a whole bodyguard of friends. He is strong and brave, and the event is doubtful.
What do you propose, then?
I propose to take advantage of the very things that are in the Marquis's favor. Namely, his nobility and position in society.
What the devil are you talking about?
The Marquis cannot deny that he is a gentleman. Therefore, I propose at the earliest opportunity to knock off his hat.
You're going to challenge the Marquis to a duel?
I see no other course of action.
The Marquis' skill with a blade is legendary. You're not likely to survive a duel with him.
Not likely, no. But it is likely that I hold him off just long enough that he misses his chance to throw the bomb.
Simon, you really are mad.
Mad? Perhaps. At any rate, martyr.
You can leave for 7:45 train to Paris. This clearing is just on his route from his lodging to the station.
I still say we should have met him in the town.
And I tell you, it will be much better. This clearing is just far enough from the lodgings and from the station, so that you can conduct your business without interruption.
Well, it seems as fine a spot as any to spend one's last moments. Ready to join me, friends?
I still don't see why it must be. Surely there must be some other way.
I suppose in theory we ought to call the police. I happen to know that Dark here is especially well equipped in this region.
Not that way. Theoretically, I ought to drown myself first. I made a promise to a poor fellow, a real modern pessimist. My word of honor that I would not tell the police. I'm no hand at moral casuistry, but I can't break my word to a modern pessimist. It's like breaking one's word to a child.
I took a similar oath. And I'm not about to add perjury to the long list of crimes I committed when I was an actor and sort of all-around beast. If I did, I should know the difference between right and wrong.
I've been through all that, and I've made up my mind. I gave my promise to the secretary. You know her, the woman who smiles upside down. Friends, that is the most utterly unhappy woman that was ever human. It might be her digestion, or her conscience, or her nerves, or her philosophy of the universe, but she's in hell. And I can't turn on a woman like that and punch her down. It would be like whipping a leper. I may be mad, but that's how I view it, and that's jolly well the end of it.
Well, it all seems we have the same kind of morality or immorality, so we had better face the fact that comes of it. We three are alone on this one. Vogel is gone. God knows where. Perhaps Sunday has squashed her like a fly. On the council, we're 3 against 3. I think the Romans have held the bridge. But we are worse off than that. First, because they can appeal to their organization, and we cannot. Second, because...
Just one of those 3 men is not just a name.
Quite. But I say, it is jolly good to have some pals. I've been half dead with the jumps, being quite alone. I nearly ran up to Gogol and wrapped my arms around her. I've been in a blue funk ever since.
We've been in a blue funk too, tormented by all the blue devils in blue hell. You and your infernal goggles were the worst devil of them all.
Wasn't it a rag? Such a simple idea. Not my own. I haven't got the brains. You see, I wanted to go into the detective business, especially the anti-dynamite business. But everyone at Scotland Yard swore that I could never look like a dynamiter. So I was brought before someone with Jocelyn, who was high up in the ranks, and who seemed to have no end of a head upon his shoulders. A pair of dark spectacles will do it, he said positively, and by George it was. Like a miracle. But that's not really the miraculous part of it all. There was still one staggering aspect that my head still turns on.
What was that?
I'll tell you. The old Taunton police who sized me up to know how the goggles would go with my hair and my socks, by God, he never saw me at all.
How is that? I thought he spoke to you.
So he did, but we spoke in a pitch-dark room, like a coal cellar. There, you would have never guessed that.
I could never have conceived.
Oh, if you really are in the force, why did you send the Marquis to France with the bomb? Surely you could have made up some excuse to delay him.
The president had his eye on me, though God knows how. I'll tell you the story someday, though it was perfectly choking. Whenever I tried to slip out of it, I saw the president somewhere, smiling at me from the club of a window or tipping his hat at me from the top of an omnibus. You can say what you like, but that man sold himself to the devil. He can be in 6 places at once.
The Marquis, I think, can only be in one place at a time. Here it is.
If you will excuse me, I am going to go over there and pull that man's great ugly nose. Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Sign, is it? And you are the Marquis de Saint-Eustache. Permit me to pull your nose. This man has insulted me.
Insulted you when?
Just now, he insulted my mother.
Insulted your mother?
Well, anyhow, my aunt.
The Marquis insulted your aunt just now.
Ah, it was what he said.
I said nothing at all.
Exactly. It was an allusion to my family. My aunt was a mute. It was a very painful subject. We were always being insulted about it.
This is nonsense. It seems to me you are simply seeking a pretext to insult the Marquis.
Oh, by George, what a clever chap you are. Seeking a quarrel with me? Seeking a fight with me? By God, there was never a man who had to seek long until settle this here and now. Marquis, your action is worth both your honor and your blood. Permit me to consult for a moment with these friends in whose hands I place my life. And listen sharply. You are my seconds, so everything must come from you. Nothing matters but having the key things to me is 7.5 to be honest. If he misses that, he misses his craft. He is a very good swordsman. I think I can keep him at play for at least 20 minutes.
The train should be gone in 20 minutes.
But if I fail, if he kills me before then, the task of preventing the attack falls to me.
You can depend on us.
Gentlemen, it is the request of the Marquis that this engagement shall terminate. It defers considerable hurt, as recognized by the seconds of both parties.
I'm afraid that Mr. Simon cannot agree to that proposal. Play must continue until one of the combatants is disabled.
To a man of the well-known skill and valor of the Marquis de Saint-Eustache, it must be a matter of indifference which method is adopted, and our principal has strong reasons for demanding the longer encounter, the delicacy of which prevent me from being absolutely explicit, but the just and honorable nature of which I...
Peste! Let us stop talking and begin.
Engage.
itself while cross swords with him again. After all, I can do the one thing the devil cannot. I can die.
Stop! I need to say something. What is the matter? Has there been foul play?
There has been foul play somewhere. Our principal has wounded Marquis 4 times at least, and he is none the worse.
Mr. Stein, we are fighting because you wanted to pull my nose. Could you do me a favor and pull it now as quickly as possible? I have a train to catch.
I heard that this is most irregular.
It is certainly somewhat above the precedent. Mr. Stein, will you not pull my nose? You have no idea how important this is to me. If I had known that I was acting for a poltroon who pads himself to fight...
I know, okay? You're all making a terrible mistake, but it cannot be explained just now. I tell you, the train is pulled into the station.
And the train shall leave the station without you.
Will you drive me mad? You shall not go by the train. Why, you great, fat, blasted, blear-eyed, blundering, thundering, brainless, doddering fool! Why, you great pink-faced you shall not go by this train. Why the infernal blade should I want to go by the train?
We know all. You are going to Paris to throw a bomb.
Going to Jericho to throw a jabberwock. Have you all had a softening of the brain? Do you really think I want to catch that train? Well, that's Paris trains.
And, what did you care about?
I cared about whether or not the train has caught me, and now by thunder it has. What on earth do you mean? I mean the end of everything. Sunday now has us in the hollow of his hand.
Us? What do you mean by us?
The police, of course. I'm Inspector Radcliffe. I can see well enough with them. Here's my card.
Don't show it to us. We have enough of them to equip a paper chase.
Gentlemen, we all owe you a serious apology, but I can assure you, you have not been made victim to such a cruel joke as you can imagine. You have not wasted your time. You have helped to save the world. And we are not buffoons, but very desperate men at war with a vast conspiracy and being hunted down by a secret society of anarchists.
Of course I accept your apology, but you will in turn forgive me if I decline to follow you further into your endeavors. Colonel Dubois, I would have no one to see your actions, but I was watching your countenance as I walked back to the town.
No, by George. If this lot is really in a mess with a lot of little records like that, I'll see them through. I fought for France, and it is hard I can't fight for civilization.
Don't make too much noise. Sunday may hear you.
Sunday?
He may be with them.
With whom?
With the people of the train.
This is incredible. I can't. If this be true, then the whole valley lot of us on the Central Anarchist Council, we're against anarchy. Every born man a detective, except the president and his personal secretary. What can it mean?
Mean? It means we are struck dead. Don't you know Sunday? Can you think of anything more like Sunday than to take all his most powerful enemies and put them on the Supreme Council, and then to make sure that it wasn't supreme?
Great Scott! You don't
I
mean...
tell you, he has bought every trust, he has captured every cable, and he has controlled every railway line, especially that one. Half the world was ready to rise for him, and there were but 5 people who would have resisted, and the old devil put them on the Supreme Council to watch each other like a bunch of confounded babies playing pinball. Well, Sunday has probably captured the world. It only means a matter of time before he captures this field and all the fools in it. My only objection to the arrival of that train is that Sunday and his secretary just this moment got out of it.
What?
Yeah, they have caught us in a nice, quiet place. We were under no temptations to break our oath by calling the police. Dr. Wolf, I suspect you will see better through these than your own highly decorative spectacles.
It cannot be as bad as you say. There are a good many of them, certainly, but they could just as well be ordinary tourists.
Do ordinary tourists wear black masks halfway down the face?
It's quite true. And one of their leaders has a smile that doesn't quite
surely they are right away on the horizon. Could you possibly know your president among all those people?
Could I know a white elephant among all those people?
Of course the president isn't with them. He's more likely riding and trying through Paris or sitting on the ruins of St. Paul's.
That's absurd. Something may have happened in our absence, but the president could not have carried off the world in a rush like that. Besides, that crowd is not all the army that you make out.
We are not a very valuable force. They have been precisely calculated to our value. We are not much, my boy, in Sunday's universe. He has hold of all the cables and telegraphs himself. But the killing of the Supreme Council, he regards as a trivial matter, like a postcard. We left to his private secretary. You know, there is a great deal to be said about death, but if anyone prefers the alternative, I strongly suggest they walk.
Blasted cloud of black masks is no further behind than when we started.
We can't keep up this pace forever. Where are we headed, Ratcliffe?
We must get down to the town of Lansing by the sea. That is the part of the country that is least likely to be with them.
What can you mean by all this? Surely not many modern men are working, and if they were, they couldn't beat modern armies and police.
Here, you've got the eternal idiotic idea that if anarchy came, it would come from the poor. Why should it? The poor man really has a stake in this country. The rich man doesn't. He can go away to New Guinea in a yacht.
What does all this have to do with our present situation?
Most of Sunday's right-hand men are South African and American millionaires. That's why it has hold of all the communications. And that's why the last 4 remaining members of the anti-anarchist police force are running through the countryside like rats.
Getting hold of a few wicked men with hobbies is one thing. Getting hold of great Christian nations is another. I would bet the skin off my nose, forgive the illusion, that Sunday would stand perfectly helpless before the task of converting any ordinary, healthy person anywhere.
Well, it sort of depends on what person you mean.
Well, that man, for instance, he at least will never be an anarchist.
You are right enough there. He has plenty of property to defend.
He looks poor.
Quite so. That is why he is rich.
I say, how much do you think he would give to give us a ride in his car?
Oh, give him anything. I have piles of money on me.
That will never do. He will never have any respect for you unless you drive him a farm home.
If he haggles,
He haggles because he is a free man. You do not understand. He wouldn't know the meaning of generosity. He's not being tipped.
They're not even moving like an ordinary mob. No sprawling into various lines to the attack. More like a staring army of automatons.
Yes, that's discipline. That's Sunday. He is perhaps 500 miles off with the fear that is still on them like a finger or a dot. Now, you see they are walking regularly, and bet your fruits they are talking regularly. Yeah, and thinking regularly. But the important problem for us is to make them disappear regularly.
Hello, he is riding his car. We shall put a good distance between us and those miscreants.
great black swarm trailing behind like a shadow.
Well, we can't stay here for too long. Having lead is one thing, but keeping it is another.
And why have we stopped here? For 2 reasons, sir. The first is that this is the only place within 20 miles in which one can get horses.
Horses?
Yes, if you people are willing to distance yourself from your enemies, it is horses or nothing for you. Unless, of course, you have bicycles and motorcars in your pocket.
And where do you advise we make for?
Beyond question, you had better make all haste for the police station beyond the dam. My friend, the Marquis, seems to me to exaggerate the possibility of a general rising. But even he could hardly maintain that you will not safe with the gendarmes.
Another reason for coming here?
A far more important reason, though certainly less utilitarian. It is just as well to see a good person or two, when one is possibly near to death.
Yes, yes. You are right. I have a fancy she may be the last honest stranger I shall ever see upon the earth.
Has anyone seen about the horses?
Yes, I gave orders the moment I came in. Those enemies of yours gave no impression of hurry, but they were really moving wonderfully fast, like a well-trained army. I had no idea those anarchists had so much discipline.
Yo, guys, here they come. The secretaries just appeared over the ridge and the ranks are not far behind.
Well, the officers are ready. And none too soon. Thank you.
1,000 thanks, mademoiselle. Words cannot express our gratitude towards you.
Of course, anarchies are noble.
Ha!
Which way to go, eh? Which way?
They went this way.
This gamekeeper looks like 5 horses are missing from the stables, too.
So you gave them horses, eh?
Which way they go?
Je ne comprends pas.
Combien de compte de l'épouille? Quel chemin?
You will join us.
Why have we stopped here? Why not make straight for the gendarme?
Some of the 5 rich people in this town are common swindlers. The thief is a friend of mine, a fine fellow. And what is even more important from our point of view, she has 3 motor cars.
We have hardly time for afternoon calls. Our danger is not 2 minutes off.
Yes, if we ride on fast, we must leave them behind, for they are on foot.
She has a motor car.
But we may not get it.
Yes, she is quite on your side.
But she might be out.
What's your choice? What is that noise?
Horses?
They have done us. Prepare to receive the cavalry.
Where could they have gotten horses?
I was speaking with strict accuracy when I said the Soleil d'Or was the only place where one can get horses within 20 miles.
No, I don't believe it. Not with all that white hair.
She may have been forced. They must be at least 100 strong.
Anarchy? It is childishness!
Extra! And that is childishness, isn't it? I am sorry to go short a culture discussion, but can you lend me one of your motor cars now in 2 minutes?
I have the suspicion that you're all mad, but God forbid that madness should in any way interrupt friendship. You may go round to the garage.
Merci, mon ami. It has been a long day with the eagles. I suppose there's no time to get a lamp?
With my compliments, may you reach the Gironde of Maryland safely.
If we do, we shall certainly be in your debt. Will we?
Look out! Hold on!
It's a no-go, I'm afraid. Nothing for it but to leg it across town and hope.
Perhaps we put enough distance between us and our stairs that he can still get there in time.
Well, we smashed something. That's some comfort.
You're becoming an anarchist.
Everyone is.
What's that sound?
Oh, the horse is behind us, I suppose. I thought we had got clear of that.
No, that is not horses. Look! Those are the other two cars from Dr. Bernard's garage.
Impossible!
I tell you, they were hers, and they were full of men in masks.
That is absurd. Dr. Bernard would never give them her cars.
She may have been forced. The whole town is on their side.
This is all raving nonsense. If you really think that ordinary men in ordinary towns are anarchists, then you must be madder than an anarchist yourself.
Look, there are already 2 rows of armed men forming across the street. The town is in arms, as I said it was.
It's quite true. There's a crowd or army or some such thing forming across the end of that street.
Well, if there is, it must be something else. A sham fight or the mayor's birthday or something. I will not believe that plain, jolly people in a town like this walk around with dynamite in their pockets. Huh. Why, you silly mugs? What did I tell you? That crowd is on our side.
How do you know?
Don't you see who is leading them?
Why, it should not. With the fool I've been, of course the hero girl has turned out to help us.
Dr. Bernard! Dr. Bernard!
Jake!
What do you think now?
I think that I am in the patent so on hand, well, that the doctor can't make much of my case. But I'll tell you what I don't think. I don't think, and never shall think, that the pack of modern men are a pair of dirty modern thinkers. I don't believe that Sunday could convert an average navigator counter-jumper.
Gentlemen, the whole thing is incredible. It must be some sort of practical joke. If you knew it not like I do, it's like calling Queen Victoria a dynamiter. Bernard shall explain it. She shall explain it.
Shall we go back then?
No, they have the row behind us held up too. In fact, I think I see another friend here.
The world is insane.
No, I am.
What are we going to do?
We still have one more chance. Whatever all this pandemonium means, I suppose the police must help us out. We have ample cover here. We can't get to the police because they hold the way. We shall hold our position here until the gendarmerie turn out. Look sharp! Are you much hurt?
My arm is only slightly hurt, but I'm afraid my hope is in this match. Even if the police do come, they can do nothing against this mob.
Stop! The gendarmes are out! They're charging the mob!
No, they formed alongside the parade.
They have slung their carbines! I'm in the patent cell.
Does it matter who is dead or who's not? I'll be dead soon.
You're quite hopeless then?
No. There is one insane little hope that I cannot get out of my mind.
In whom or what is your hope?
A man I never saw.
Know what you mean. The man in the dark room. Sunday must have killed him by now.
Yes, but even so, he was the only man whom Sunday found it hard to kill.
I am also holding on hard to the man I never saw.
Where is the colonel? Let's go. We can't leave among these beasts. Let's die like gentlemen.
Do not pity the colonel just yet. Look.
No, no, no! Not the colonel too!
Yes! He is gone too. Everything is gone. I'm gone. It feels as if I can't trust my own bodily machinery. My own hand might fly up and strike me.
When my hand flies up, it'll strike someone else. Judas before Herod! Do you see this lantern? Do you see the cross carved on it? And the flame inside? You did not make it. You did not light it. Better men than you, men who could believe and obey, twisted the entrails of iron and preserved the legend of fire. There is not a thread you walk on, there is not a street you wear that was not made as this lantern was, by denying your philosophy of dirt and rats. You can make nothing. You can only destroy. You will destroy mankind. You will destroy the world. Let that suffice you. But this one old Christian lantern you shall not destroy.
Stop! Mr. Son, there is some mistake. I hardly think you understand your position. I arrest you in the name of the law.
Of the law?
Certainly. I'm the detective from Scotland Yard. Just what do you suppose we are? You are, as I know for a fact, members of the Supreme Anarchist Council. Disguised as one of you,
There never was a Supreme Anarchist Council!
And all these nice people who were peppering us with gunshots thought that we were the dynamiters. I knew I couldn't be wrong about the mob.
Where are you going?
I am going to the nearest tavern to stand a drink to everybody here.
And it was Sunday's idea that we should all wear masks so that we might approach you, who we thought were our enemies. The guy's fellow conspirator.
But it was precisely those masks that first gave us the idea that Sunday had turned the whole world anarchist and sent you after us.
I still can't make head or tail of Sunday's game. If we are all harmless officers, what is he? If he has not seized the world, what has he been up to?
Well, whatever Sunday is, he isn't up to blame.
Well, I suppose we are all about to find out. The next general meeting is meant to start in just a few minutes. You'll excuse me for being well acquainted with my secretarial duties.
I suppose we might find out from him, but I confess I should feel a bit afraid of asking Sunday who he really is.
Why? For fear of bombs?
No. For fear he might tell me.
There he is!
Who, the president?
No, not as bad as that. That hairy man. The woman who used to be the hairy man.
Well, don't just stand there. Go and get her. We really ought to complete the ring of spies, you know.
Why do you worry with me? You have already expelled me as a spy.
We are all spies. Come and have a drink. Now this is more like it. We are 6 friends going to ask one man what he needs.
I think it is a bit clearer than that. I think it is 6 men going to ask one man what they need.
Delightful. So pleased to see you all. What an exquisite day it is. Is the Tsar dead?
No, sir. There has been no such massacre. I bring you news of no such disgusting spectacles.
Disgusting spectacles. You mean Dr. Bull's spectacles? Of course, we all have our opinions, even our eyes. But really, to call them disgusting.
My
for a woman
spectacles
herself.
are blackguardly, but I'm not. Look at my face.
I dare say. It's a sort of face that grows on one. In fact, it grows on you. And who am I to quarrel with the wild fruits that grow upon the tree of life? I dare say, it will grow on me someday.
We have no time for this tomfoolery. We have come to know what all this means. Who are you? What are you? Why did you get us all here? Do you know who and what we all are? Are you a half-witted man playing to get scared her? Or are you a clever man playing the fool? Answer me, I tell you!
Candidates are only required to answer 8 out of the 17 questions on the paper. Well, I will go so far as to run the veil of one mystery. If you want to know what you are a set of highly well-intentioned young jackasses. But you, what are you? I? What am I? You want to know what I am, do you? Bull, you're a woman of science. Grub in the roots of those trees and find out the truth about them. Son, you're a poet. Stare at those morning clouds. If I tell you this, that you will have found out the truth of the last tree and the topmost cloud before the truth about me. You will understand the sea, and I, though is still a riddle, shall know what the stars are and not know what I am. Since the beginning of the world, all men have hounded me like a wolf. Kings and sages and poets and lawyers, all the churches and all the philosophies. But I have never been caught yet. And the skies will fall in the time I turn to bed. I've given them a good run for their money. I will now. There's one thing I'll tell you, though, about who I am. I'm the man in the dark room who made you all police.
Quick, after him!
Wait, which way did he go?
Son, did you see him? This way!
It's no use rushing about without a plan. Monte, do you have any idea where he might have headed?
There's no telling what he is capable of. Though I did hear he has a house in North London.
You'll never convince me that any house of Sundays belongs in any ordinary part of the world.
There he is! Come along, we're gaining on him.
Where's that fellow? It's a note. The notes, I think. One's for me, the other's for Dr. Bull, MD, PhD, OBE, ST, MP, ETC.
What about the Martin Tupper now? What does the old maniac mean? What does yours say, son?
No one would regret anything in the nature of interference by the Archdeacon more than myself. I trust it will not come to that. But for the last time, wear your galoshes. It's a bad thing after what Uncle said.
Quick, he's held a cab. Stop, thief!
I could have sworn I heard the others just here. You know where they might have gone? Where is he?
Hello. Welcome back to the chase. He's in a cab headed that way.
Look, he's jumped on board a fire engine.
What the heck is that? Hurry up!
Ratcliffe. Fly at once. The truth about your trouser stretchers is known. All right. Well, after him. You can't go straight now. There's no mistaking a fire engine. All right, come on. Go, 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 go.
Are you sure he's this way?
Yes, go. No. Wait, no, stop, stop.
He went that way.
No, it's this way.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive. Trust me.
Okay.
Wait. He went this way.
Oh, boy. Okay. North, south, east, west.
Sign, over here.
This way. the old devil's house?
All the better. We shall find him at home.
No, but it isn't that. Did you hear that infernal racket?
His dog's barking, of course.
You ever hear a dog bark like that?
Dog of Sunday would be no ordinary dog.
Well, his house ought to be hell now. If it is hell, then I'm going in. Why, you fools! It's the zoo!
Has what?
An elephant! Elf has gone mad! Run away!
Let's run away with a gentleman, a very large old gentleman.
Oh,
Large.
what sort of old gentleman?
White hair.
Well, I can give you my report. The elephant has not run away with him. He has run away with an elephant! The elephant was not made by God that cannot run away with him without his consent. And by thunder, there he is!
Stop him! Get me out of the gate!
Oh, stop a landslide! He is out of the gate! Great Lord, I never knew an elephant could go so fast! Hurry up. Hurry.
Go.
The word offensive should be pink.
Alright, rope, bag of peanuts. Park! That's how you catch an elephant!
Hey, I never had you!
Uh-oh. Where did everyone go? They were just here. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, wait, no, I need help, please. Oh, I sure messed it up this time. Oh, okay. I know there had to be someone there. I know it. Oh, help me, please, help me, please.
You're that area. Come on, we help me find it.
You're not Dr. Bull. We can do it. You know where
You need this way.
Are you sure?
Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Look. Buddy, what's going on? Dwarves! Dwarves! Dr. Bull! Right here, dwarves!
Oh, what the devil's going on now?
Funny man, sir, told me to hold his horse and give you this, sir.
To the secretary of the Central Anarchist Council!
When the herring runs a mile, let the secretary smile. When the herring tries to fly, let the secretary die. Rusty... Why the eternal crikey did you let the man in? You call me, comrades. Ready?
Hey, look over there!
Look at what?
Look at the Captain Blue!
Why should I look at Captain Blue? What is the room at Blue?
It's not captive anymore!
10,000 devils! He's got into it!
Oh my goodness!
I fancy so I fell from the sky. Your beauty has not left me indifferent. From little snowdrop.
Well, I'm not beaten yet. That blasted thing's gotta come down somewhere. Let's follow it.
It's not even moving anymore, just floating there out of reach.
The sun's setting just behind it.
Can't go much farther without some rest, anyway.
After all, it is rather beautiful.
I wish the beastly gas bag would burst.
No, I hope it won't. It might hurt the old boy.
Hurt him? Not as much as I'd hurt him if I could get a hold of him. Little snowdrop.
I don't want him hurt somehow.
What? Do you honestly believe that utter rot about his being our man in the dark room? Sunday would say he was anybody.
I don't know whether I believe it or not. But that's not what I mean. I can't wish for the old Sunday's balloon to burst because
Because?
he's so jolly like the balloon himself. I don't care who knows it. I've always had a sympathy for the old man, wicked as he was. Almost as if he were a great bouncing baby.
Clear as mud.
So fat and so light. Just like a balloon. We always view fat people as heavy, but he could have danced against a sylph. I know now what I mean. Moderate strength is shown in violence, but supreme strength is shown in levity. And no, it's not an admiration of force or any silly thing like that. There is a kind of gaiety in the thing, almost as if you were bursting with some kind of good news. Haven't you felt it on a spring day? You know that nature plays tricks, but somehow on that day it does prove they are good-natured tricks.
You do not know Sunday at all. Perhaps it is because you are better than I. Do not know hell. When I first saw Sunday, he expressed to me not your airy vitality, but something both gross and sad in nature of things. I found him smoking in a twilight room, a room infinitely more depressing than the genial darkness in which our master lives. He sat there on a bench, a huge heap of man, dark and out of shape. He listened to all my words without speaking or even stirring. I poured out my most passionate appeals and asked my most eloquent questions. Then, after a long silence, the thing began to shake. And it shook like a loathsome and living jelly. I thought it was shaken by some secret malady. It seemed the final form of matter, the most shapeless, the most shameful. I could only tell myself amid shudderings that it was something at least that such a monster could be miserable. Then it broke upon me that the bestial mountain was shaking with a lonely laughter. And the laughter was at me. Do you ask me to forgive him that? It is no small thing to be laughed at by something at once lower and stronger than oneself.
Well, surely you fellows are exaggerating wildly. I mean, sure, Sunday's a terrible fellow to one's intellect, but he's not quite the Barnum's freak as you make him out to be. I'll tell you what is a trifle creepy about Sunday. His room is neat, his clothes are neat, everything seems to be in order, but he is absent-minded. Sometimes his great bright eyes go quite blind. For hours, he even forgets you are there. But an absent-minded man means a good-natured man, a man who, if he happens to see you, will apologize. So how do you deal with a man who, if he happens to see you, will kill you? This is what tries the nerves. Men have felt it walking through wild forests that the animals, if they were once innocent and pitiless, they might ignore or slay. How would you like to spend 10 mortal hours in a room with an absent-minded tiger?
What do you think of the president, Doyle?
Well, I don't think of Sunday on principle any more than I stare at the sun at noonday.
That is a point of view. What do you think of the president, Professor? Oh, wake up, Professor. Come on, tell us what you think of old Sunday.
I think something that I cannot say clearly. Rather, I think something that I cannot even think clearly. When I first saw Sunday's face, I thought it was too large. Everyone does, but I also thought it was too loose. But I have seen that face while walking up a road at night, in a lamp, in a lighted window, in a cloud. Yet when I walked a little farther, I saw that there was no face. Sunday's face escaped me. It ran away to right and left as such chance pictures run away. And so Sunday's face has led me to doubt whether there are any faces. Oh, the doubts of a materialist are not worth a dump. Sunday has taught me the last and the worst doubts, the doubts of a spiritualist. I'm a Buddhist, I suppose, and Buddhism is not a creed. It is a doubt. I have not faith enough to believe in that.
Did you notice something odd about all your descriptions? Each of you finds Sunday quite different, yet each of you finds only one thing to compare him to. The whole universe. Dr. Bull says he is like the earth in spring, Gogol the sun at noonday. Ratcliffe is reminded of the carelessness of virgin forests, the secretary of the shapeless protoplasm. The professor says he is like a changing landscape. Now this is queer, but it is queerer still that I also have had my odd notion about the president. And I too find that I can think of Sunday as I think of the whole world.
Get on a little faster, Simon. Never mind the balloon.
When I first met Sunday, I saw only his back. And when I saw his back, I knew he was the worst man in the world. His head and shoulders were brutal, like those of an apish god. His head had a stoop that was hardly human at all. It was like the stoop of an ox. In fact, I had at once the revolting fancy that this was no man at all, but a beast in man's clothes.
Get on?
But then something odd happened. Coming round the other side of him, I saw his face in the sunlight. His face frightened me like it did everyone, but not because it was so brutal, because it was so evil. Rather, his face frightened me because it was so good, because it was so beautiful.
Sign! Are you ill?
It was like the face of some ancient archangel judging justly after heroic wars. There was laughter in the eyes and in the mouth, honor and sorrow. When I saw him from behind, I was sure he was an animal. When I saw him in front, I knew he was a god. Then, and again, and always, that has been for me the mystery of Sunday, and it is also the mystery of the world. When I see that back, I am sure the noble face is but a mask. When I see the face, but for an instant, I know the back is a jest. Bad. It is so bad that we cannot but think good in accident. Good is so good that we feel certain evil could be explained. This all came to a sort of crest today as we were racing Sunday through the streets, and I was just behind him all the way. I had time for this one outrageous thought. I was suddenly possessed with the idea that the blind, blank back of Sunday's head was actually his face. An awful, eyeless face staring at me. And I had the idea that the figure running in front of me was actually a figure running backwards and dancing as he ran.
Horrible.
Horrible is not the word. It was exactly the worst moment of my life. But then, he stuck his head outside the cab and made a grimace at us like a gargoyle. In that instant, I knew he was only like a father playing hide and seek with his children.
It's a long game.
Shall I tell you the secret of the whole universe? The secret of the whole universe is that we have only known the back of the universe. We see everything from behind and it looks brutal. Can you not see? Everything is merely stupid in hiding a face. If we could only get round to the other side.
The balloon is coming down!
He is dead, and now I know he was my friend. My friend in the dark!
Dead? You will not find him dead so easily. If he has been tipped out of the car, we shall find him rolling like a colt in the field, kicking his legs for fun.
Oh, if he has cheated us by getting killed, it would be just like one of his larks.
Gentlemen, my master has a carriage waiting for you on the road just by. You are to accompany me to his house, where there is to be a fancy dress ball.
Who is your master?
I was told you knew his name. He left very specific instructions.
And what if we refuse to accompany you?
Then my master bids me to say, at supper, all shall be revealed.
We are in no fit state for a fancy dress ball.
My master has anticipated your every move. He has provided for each of you a room with refreshments and a costume for you.
A costume?
Yes, sir. You are to be dressed as the days of the week.
Where is this carriage?
It has been waiting for you
good-natured one. You.
Yes, it is I. Are you surprised?
Well, I suppose if this really is a dream, I ought to have expected you.
Please read. It is the beginning of the end of your search and the answers to all your questions.
Genesis?
The days of creation?
Separation of light and darkness.
The sun and the moon?
And behold, God looked at everything he had made and found it very good.
Please be seated. He shall be here very soon.
We do not know yet that he's not dead in a field.
Drink. Soon all your questions will be answered.
Let us eat and drink together. We who have loved each other so sadly and have fought so long. I seem to remember only centuries of heroic war, in which you were always heroes, epic on epic, and you were always brothers in arms. Whether it was but recently, or at the beginning of the world, for time is nothing, I sent you out to war. I sat in the darkness, where there is not any created thing, and to you, I was only a voice, demanding valor and a natural virtue. You heard the voice in the dark, but you never heard it again. The sun and heaven denied it. The earth and sky denied it. All human wisdom denied it. And when I met you in the daylight, I denied it myself. But you were men. You did not forget your secret honor, though the whole cosmos turned an engine of Satan. You Wednesday. Name's me, in the hour without hope.
Who and what are you?
I am the Sabbath. I'm the peace of God.
I know what you mean. And it is exactly that I cannot forgive you. I know you are contentment, optimism. What do they call the thing? An ultimate reconciliation? Well, I am not reconciled. If you were the man in the dark room, why were you also Sunday? An offense to the sunlight. If you were from the first, our father and our friend, why were you also our greatest enemy? We wept. We fled in terror. The iron entered our souls. And you were the peace of God? I can forgive God his anger, though it destroyed nations. But I cannot forgive him his peace.
No, I do not feel fierce like that. I am grateful to you, not only for your wine and hospitality here, but for many a fine scampery, good fight. But I should like to know. My heart and soul are as quiet here as in an old garden, but my reason is still crying out. I should like to know.
It seems so silly that you should have been on both sides and fought yourself.
I understand nothing, but I am happy. In fact, I am going to sleep.
I am not happy because I do not understand. You have led me stray a little too near to hell.
I wish I knew. I was so hurt.
I've heard your complaints in order. And here, I think, comes another to complain. You will hear him also.
Gregory. Why, this is the real anarchist.
Yes, I am the real anarchist.
Now, there was a time when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them.
You're right. I am a destroyer. I would destroy mankind and the whole world if I could.
Oh, most unhappy man. Try to be happy.
I thought I hated everything more than man can hate. But I find I do not hate anything so much as I hate you.
I never hated
You! You did not hate because you never lived. I know what all of you are from first to last. You are the people in power. You are the police, the great, fat, smiling men in blue with buttons. You are the law, and you have never been broken. But is there a free soul alive today that does not long to break you? Only because you have never been broken? We in revolt talk all kinds of doubtless nonsense about this crime or the crime of the government. It is all folly. The only crime of the government is that it governs. The unpardonable sin of the supreme power is that it is supreme. I did not curse you for being cruel. I did not curse you, though I might, for being kind. I curse you for being safe. You sit there in your chairs of stone. You've never come down from them. You're the 7 angels of heaven. You've had no troubles. Oh, I could forgive you everything. You that rule mankind. If I could feel for once that you would suffer real agony, such as I
see
suffered.
everything. I see everything that there is. Why does each small thing war against each other thing? Why does each small thing on earth have to fight against the universe itself? Why does a dandelion have to fight the whole universe? Why does a fly have to fight the whole universe? For the same reason I had to be alone in the dreadful council of days, so that each thing that obeys law may have the glory and isolation of the anarchist, so that each man who fights for order may be as good and brave a man as the dynamiter, so that the real lie of Satan may be flung back in the face of this blasphemer, so that by trials and torture we may earn the right to say to this man, "You lie." No agonies can be too great to say to this man, "We also have suffered." It is not true that we have not been broken. We have been broken upon the wheel. It is not true that we have never descended from these thrones. We have descended into hell. We were complaining of unforgettable miseries at the very moment when you walked in to insolently accuse us of happiness. I refute the slander. We have not been happy. I can answer for every one of the great guards of the law whom he has accused. Except... Have you ever suffered?
Can ye drink of the cup that I drink of?
Strange thing is to hit your mark. The gross obvious is to miss it. We feel it is epical when one man with a wild arrow strikes a distant bird. Is it not also epical when one man with a wild train strikes a distant station? Chaos is dull. Because in chaos, that train could go anywhere, from Baker Street to Baghdad. Man is a magician. His magic is this, that he does say Victoria. And lo, it is Victoria.
Thank you, Mr. Syme. You have reassured me greatly. Thank you for your kind words.
I assure you, Miss Gregory, the pleasure was all mine.
Goodbye.
Miss Gregory, I hope you don't think it is rude of me, but I would be greatly honored if I could accompany you.
I should like that very much, Mr. Syme.